So I am very excited, not only about having so many new members, but we are going through the roof. Can you feel the energy? Because I just put it out there as a telepathic thought after our December meeting going, we need a better venue and better catering. And I've just realised none of you have eaten. So is Hillary in the room? Would you mind just undoing all the catering for me? Thank you. So we have to rewrite all our systems for hosting you because this venue works differently, but they are fantastic. I have had a Rolls-Royce experience in terms of making this happen, and I understand there's parking an issue, but if you can get over parking to do a lot more business here, because there's a lot more people who are interested in joining us because they're just a quick short walk up the terrace. No. So we've just got to iron out a few system issues, which is my problem, not the venue's problem. So thank you for persevering in finding us here at the new venue. And I will, I can talk, so let's just get to the point of what we're all here for. Hi, Praddy. Welcome. First impressions is a theme for tonight. We've got 3 fantastic speakers presented by us out of the Box Biz for you guys, our members and guests. I just want to share our vision for those of you who've either forgotten or aren't sure or don't know, to connect and empower people to create greater freedom, choice and opportunity in their lives, connecting them with like-minded people in an inspiring, inclusive environment. The interesting thing is about that vision, or as some people call their why, I wrote that when I had an art business and my focus was my property business. So when I started this business, I looked at it and I went, hey, that's what I'm still doing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm sharing that because we're going to talk about our whys later on tonight. I was reading a magazine, My Business magazine. Who reads My Business magazine? Okay. You need to read My Business magazine because it's all got businesses in it. You also need to aim to get your article as people in business in My Business magazine. And I know a few people who can help you to do that, as you know. But I was reading that magazine on a plane. I think I was going to Sydney at the time. And this interesting statistic by the Small to Medium Enterprise Association of Australia. Welcome, come in. They said, did you know that small and medium enterprises, known as SMEs, comprise 99.7... Hi, Catherine. Hi, Claire. Say hi, everyone. Oh, I love front row people. Anyway, small SMEs comprise 99.7% of business in Australia. I don't know about you, but I thought that was a fairly shocking stat. And you know what? There is absolutely nothing small about small business with that statistic. So we can change the world as far as I'm concerned. So I think we need to start doing it with us. 75 now, but building to 120 as an exclusive organisation. What do you reckon? Yeah. Cool. I'm in. That's enough about me. So now all about you. But we're not at tables. See how I've got to change my systems? We're not at tables. The reason why we're not at tables is we're too big for this room. So as soon as we get over 50 registrations, we need to go to theatre style. I say good problem to have. With Cliftons, they can't actually fit us in a room when we're 120 with tables this year. They can next year. So if you can cope with theatre style for a year, we'll bring out the tables next year. So what I want you to do is to share with the people next to you or near you. Hi, Ken. How are you going? I haven't seen you for ages. So Ken's also my brother, so I'm like, hi. So share with the people next to you or near you your name, your business, and what your why is. Go. Okay, I hope everyone, I had a question of whether it was why you're here or your why in business. So hopefully you worked it out, or you did both, or just had a nice chat. So, what Out of the Box Biz is, and I share this for the people who don't know us, but also to our members, because there's so much that we do that sometimes you forget aspects of it. So we use business education as a catalyst to stimulate business networking. Linda Levy, love you to pieces, but shh. We use business education, so you have the shared experience of a learning from our guest speakers, and we have 3 fantastic speakers tonight, which stimulates quality business networking, which stimulates business growth. So ultimately, that's what we're here for. We are a membership-based business, and I'm interested in face-to-face communication and face-to-face contact. That's why we're all in the room together. We do have 4 levels of membership. I'll explain those briefly later. And we are building to an exclusive group of only 120 members. We are only a year old, so I say we go and blow that goal through the roof, and then I think it gets really interesting. Because Perth being Perth and Australians being Australians, with the whole tall poppy syndrome thing going on, as soon as they can't get in, they all want to come in droves. What do you reckon? So you guys are going to be sought after, and I will protect you from every single business that's trying to get my list, because they already are, and we're already trying to get on this stage. We have booked out 2015 with speakers. Thank you. I haven't printed out the sheets to prove it. Sorry. But by the next couple of months, I hope to book out 2016, because the speakers that are in demand, you need to book 12 to 18 to 2 years in advance. And people are already coming to seek us out to be on this stage in front of you guys, because they know the quality of the audience. So, thank you. We do have a business agenda. It may not feel like it. And when you arrived, it is open networking. It's not just chaos. So it's all a little bit free flow. I am running out late already, because that's what I do. As my support team know, like Veronica, where's Veronica Smith, who was our MC at the December event? How fantastic was she? Give it up for Veronica, because the hardest job for anyone who has to work with me in a live event, this is the big secret, so if I ever come and ask you, can you be MC, you'll just go, nah. Because I write the running order, I write all the system, blah, 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 all that, but when it comes to the live event, I don't follow it. And Veronica's job the entire night was to go, get Fleur back on track. And she did that elegantly and beautifully, and thank you so much. Anyway, we do have 3 guest speakers on your agenda, which is in your folders. We do have Linda Chatwin starting first, but we've switched the order just because of traffic jams, etc. So we're going to start with Sharon Atwood shortly, and Linda will follow. So that's just the only change in your agenda. So a copy of that is in your folder. And I'm just checking that's all I need to do. Yes, I just need to find you, Sharon. And I found you. So it is my absolute pleasure and honour to introduce Sharon Atwood from her business Modern Etiquette. Sharon I met a little while ago, and we kept crossing paths both online and in networking events. And the thing about Sharon is she's distinctive, memorable, and has beautiful, beautiful energy. And she's going to share some of her tips about how all of us can achieve that. So please welcome Sharon Atwood.
Give me a switch that goes 2 ways, and my first choice was the wrong one, so thank you very much. So yes, we've got a bit of behavioural flexibility, so I'm first. Thank you for your very kind words. That was lovely. Is my slide? No. There it is. Be the best version of you. Yay! So thank you very much for that, and yeah, I'm really excited to be included in the agenda for tonight, and it was something that I discussed with Fleur even last year, because obviously at this time of the year, it's a time when so many of us are reflecting on what we did or didn't do last year, and we're setting those goals and those grand plans for this year. And I think being the best version of you and focusing on how we can do our best and make great first impressions, it's really great, you know, at this time of year to perhaps take the time. And that's probably what I'll be focusing on tonight is that thing of really taking the time out to invest a bit of effort in thinking how we do what we do. So we'll be going on a little bit of a journey of self-discovery, a little bit of self-awareness. And whilst not everything I bring up tonight, because some of it's quite an eclectic grab bag of things you might like to consider, not everything will apply to you, but there'll be something in there that applies to all of us. So we'll roll through that part there. And so far as my background, obviously there's a lot of people here that there's a few that I haven't met before. I'm probably walking proof, and I didn't bring my funny photo tonight, but you can see it on Facebook when we connect. You know, is walking proof of the value of making a good first impression. I was actually in some IGA commercials that ran for 4 years, and I was approached purely from being a shopper in the store to audition for those ads. And my claim to fame there is that I was later replaced by Arndo, so I'm okay with that. He's, you know, we've got a bit of an equal profile going on, so when people say to me, you know, you're not on the bus anymore, you're not on the billboards anymore, I'm like, well, you know, I needed the gig, so I've moved on from there. And I also do in-store modelling for the TS department of Maya at the Galleria, and that was simply just a one-off conversation with a department manager, and the whole, have you ever considered modelling? And it's not a question I thought I would ever hear. I'm not blonde, I'm not 17, and I'm not down Scarborough Beach, but that was the question that she gave me. So that was just a one-off conversation. So I know that there's proof in the, you know, and power in the way that we interact with people that we just meet. Oh, they're going that way. Okay. So it's all about embracing your inner awesome, and a lot of people know my hashtag this year is Choose Awesome, and it's really something that I'm all about. And when it comes to the way that you interact with people in your business, I find so many people put a lot of time and effort into looking at their logo, and they look at the colour of their car and the colour of their staff's uniforms, and you know, the weight of the paper that their letterhead's printed on, and then it's a mad scramble to get themselves out there to represent their business. And when we stop and ask them, well, you know, how are you representing your business? How do you see yourself as your personal brand? And it's a really big question mark, because they've invested all this time and effort into the things they feel they can control, that a lot of the time people will overlook something that they think's a little bit out of their control. So we'll go through a few touch points tonight that show you where you can, you know, exhibit some control, that you can, you know, put some thought into how you're interacting and reacting probably with people out there. So a lot of it is about removing clutter, and I find that that's something that, you know, people will get out there, and there's too much clutter. It's like your image is clouded. The way that you interact with people, there's just too much going on, and they're not getting to see who you really are. And I know from meeting so many of you, both in these meetings and out of it, I like you. And I think that if you gave other people the same opportunity to get to know you, they'd like you too. So we'll run through how you can make that as easy as possible. And that's really what focusing on a first impression is like. It's sort of an amuse-bouche for the soul. You know, it's that sort of introduction. We're not going to seal the deal straight away. It's really just letting people know that you're someone worth knowing, and someone worth spending some time with. It's also about building rapport, respect, and recognition. So we're wanting to come in at the right level for you. So not everything that I bring up this evening is going to be applicable to you. You need to look at what your personal brand is, look at what your business is, and look at who your client is, look at who the avatar is that you're trying to appeal to, and then work towards, you know, appealing to them on that level. So often we hear the story that you've got 7 seconds to make a first impression, and I thought I'd put it out there because that old chestnut was bound to come up tonight. And I'll let you know that I don't believe it at all. I think that these days we're working fast, we're flicking through our web pages, you know, we're online, we want it now, we want it here and there. You've got less than 7 seconds. Yeah. So don't be afraid. You know, and the thing is too that people like to sort of think, you know, I've got time and I don't judge others. You do. You're judging me, and I judge you. We all judge each other. And it's about being resourceful in the way that we approach that. And if you think that you're not judging anybody, and that you're giving them the benefit of time, and it's just not happening. So it's probably less than 7 seconds, and the majority of that is taken up with the visual as well. So saving up, 80% of that time for your barbecue speech or your elevator pitch, it's not really going to get you across the line. You need to take care of the other things, that are taking up that less than 7 seconds that you've got. The next one, yep. I also obviously too, run into a lot of people that are very much take me as I am. You like me or you don't like me. And that's cool, because I've said to people as well, I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. And, it takes some time and probably a bit of counselling and therapy to get okay with that, because you come from being a people pleaser and you think, well, I'm going to go out there and I want everybody to love me. And I can stand up here and tell you that you don't all have to love me, and I'm okay with that, because I love me and that's all right. And there's a lot of quality people who love me too. So we can move on from that part of it. And the whole thing of taking me as I am, it's really though about knowing who you actually are. Because people get tied up in this whole thing of authenticity. It's like, I'm going to go out, I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to be authentic, and they're going to love that. The issue with that is if you're not actually aware of, who your client is, what your brand is, who you really are, there's inconsistencies, and people will read those inconsistencies or that last-minute scramble as inauthenticity. So that's why you really need to still get your head around it. So you can be as cool as you like and as hip as you need to be with awareness. And that's probably the biggest message that we need to get around to start with. So say it's about being prepared, so way before you even get the opportunity to come into the room tonight. And obviously we've all invested some money. This isn't $9.95, event. We've invested some money, we've invested energy and time. Probably, I have, like a lot of you. You narrow your focus, you get more strategic with who you're networking with. And for that reason, you need to get a great return on the, the effort that you're putting in and the money and the time. So way before you even get to an event, I'm suggesting that you think about how you're going to interact with people when you actually get there. So you're starting early. And you're walking in the door anyway, or approaching the whole thing with an attitude of gratitude. Okay. Anywhere that I go, I'm really glad that people have me there. I still get stoked that people want to meet me and talk to me. And I think that being grateful and being there to serve, and really going to somewhere knowing that I just want to contribute. I'm happy to help in any way that I can, really comes across. So I think if you're planning for attending an event, you keep that in mind, it shows. And it also releases the pressure of, what am I going to get? And I've met a lot of people who attend events and they're like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get 27 business cards, and they don't have to like me because I'm going to send a message on LinkedIn and they'll love that because my copywriter wrote it and she said it's awesome. I'm like, I don't think that's going to work for you. And I have to say that in a really nice way because they probably spent a lot of money paying somebody to write really nice letters for them. So it's the face-to-face thing, and I think that's where we all appreciate where Fleur's coming from. It's that opportunity to put forward our attitude. So we're looking at how we add value. We're keeping our attitude in check and our head in the game. Now, particularly today, as I said to someone, it's a bit of behavioural flexibility that I'm not second, I'm speaking here now. We've come to a new venue, we've had to drive a different way, park somewhere else. And when we do that, it's another thing to plan before we even get to an event, is to arrive calm and cool and collected. It's to allow time before you even enter the room to get your head in the game. You're not rushing in at the last minute. We're not, overly concerned about things. We're coming in with the right attitude, and then people will want to talk to you. Because I don't know if you've ever found, because I know that I have, when you see somebody who's really flustered and they come in and they're burdened with things and umbrellas and coats, and you kind of leave them alone because you think they need to just get their act together, and then you sort of disregard speaking to them. Whereas if they got their act together outside of the room and entered the room, with aplomb, you'd be flocking to speak to them because you think, they look great, they're organised, I'll go and speak to them. So I'm sort of suggesting this is do that outside, do that away from other people. I always plan, I'm a girl, I always plan where I can pop to the ladies, you know, check my lippy, and there's a bit of a wind tunnel out there tonight. So, you know, I plan ahead. I get those sorts of things organised before I even get to where I'm going. So far as to, you know, arriving, whether you need to get somewhere calm, you know, whether you want to get there pumped, plan that along the way as well. I have a few selections, different soundtracks in the car, and depending on whether I'm attending a function or whether I'm speaking at something will depend on the music that I choose. So, you know, if I'm doing we've done some training together, there's a bit of 80s rock on the way down there. It's a nice long drive. So I'm a big fan. I've got a bit of Kiss, a bit of Warrant, Whitesnake. You wouldn't guess that about me, would you? So I've shared. You would. But tonight I wanted to get here and, you know, and have that subtle sophistication about me. So I had some Wham on the way here. Last Christmas is still playing in my car. My kids are a little bit over that, so I'll have to move that one out the way. But I even sort of, you know, I plan to that point as well. And if I'm wanting to arrive somewhere nice and calm, I don't make phone calls on the way there. You know, it's getting my head in the game and it's showing respect for the people that are investing their time in being there for me. So, as I say, yeah, get your soundtrack together. It shows as well, say, when you're walking through the door, it's about posture. It's about the physicality of how you walk in the door. So you're not coming in burdened with multiple bags, you know, suitcases and umbrellas and coats and everything else, because again, it sort of makes you look weighed down, and it can even make people look like they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders because they've got 17,000 things that they're carrying. So I probably specifically say this to a lot of the guys as well, is sometimes men have a thing against, you know, folios or a bag, you know, just something that keeps everything together. There's nothing worse than barreling through the door and dropping things on, you know, on the table, you're dropping things on the floor, you can't find a business card. So it's just thinking about how you're going to work the room, how you're going to meet with people, shake hands when you get there. I've probably got half a dozen different bags and I swap between them. You know, if it's a cocktail function, then I downsize to something that pops under my arm. I've got one hand for champagne and one hand for waving around when I see people I know. So it's that sort of planning. And, you know, it's just so that you can walk in and you're ready to go. Similarly with things like glasses, keys and your phone. It's funny, my dad's been in sales for 48 years when he retired. And every single person he ever trained, he said to them, if I ever see you go and see a client with your sunglasses on your head, you're out of here. Because he said it implies that you're in a rush. It's the same with your keys in your hand. I work with people who are, you know, maybe trying to pop in, you know, on clients, or they're delivering brochures and this sort of thing, and they're like, everybody looks busy. I said, because you look busy. If you rock in and you've got a folio, you know, and you look like you're ready for a 5-minute chat, they'll talk to you. But if you rock in and you've got your phone in one hand and you've got your keys in the other, your sunglasses on your head, you look like you're in a hurry. So let them know that it's okay to talk to you. Let them know that you're there, that you're available for conversation. So it's just another thing that, it just, again, it's a bit of respect, and it's also showing people that you're there for them. So it's an oldie but a goodie. Also things, you know, distractions. As I say, as I touch my glasses, I say to people, if you need to get your glasses tightened, get your glasses tightened. I probably do that every month because I'm so aware of them moving and I don't like touching my face. It's probably the fact that I'm a diploma certified beauty therapist. I spent 11 months training where the big cardinal sin was touching your face. So yeah, now every time I do it, I'm just like conditioned. I think some old lady's going to yell at me. So, you know, I mean, that's part of it as well. So it's things about keeping your hair, you know, where it's comfortable, not fiddling, not twirling, not distracting, you know, being comfortable with how it looks and comfortable enough that it's not distracting you, because that comes through that if you're distracted, the other person gets distracted, and you'll generally find in a networking situation, they'll move on to talk to somebody else. And, give me a slide. I don't know why I thought of you, Ed, when I picked out this one. Excuse me. Eyebrows. Eyebrows. I just thought you'd appreciate that one. So with eyebrows, I've got a real thing about eyebrows. I've done a lot of training and talk just about eyebrows at times as well. The thing is too, when we're connecting with somebody, there's a caveman part of the brain, and there's science to prove it still exists. And what it does is that it makes us seek out caveman traits in other people. So we're seeking out the strong, the virile, the ones who will help our tribe, the ones who will come and help us to hunt, and they have facial symmetry. And one of the ways that we can now appeal to people who are looking for that sort of thing, one example of it is to maintain our eyebrows, is to look at the way that, that we style our hair. It's also having our glasses straight. The amount of people whose glasses sit askew is just strange, and you find that you start talking to them like this and then they adjust like this, and it's really distracting. I mean, most places now adjust your glasses for free. As I say, I pop in there all the time. I've also got a 3-year-old, so that explains half my problems. But so it's about it's maintenance, and it's probably another big tip for the guys is the hot trend this year for eyebrows is 2. It worked. So no, unibrows are out. No, it's the hipster trend. All the hair's down here now. It's just not up here anymore. So it's about 2 eyebrows. Trying to get guys, I used to work in a day spa, and it's interesting there is that you sort of think guys don't come in. They do. They come in for everything. And but the bigger point here is that just sort of tweezing a little bit out of the middle of your eyebrows, a little bit of maintenance, a bit of grooming. Good eyebrows can make you look up to 10 years younger. I'm actually in an eyebrow, an eyebrow intervention plan at the moment. I studied electrolysis, and I'm missing part of one eyebrow because that's the side of the school that the machine was on. So we just ended up with a lot of this one missing. So I go and see an eyebrow specialist every 3.5 weeks, and she's helping me to get them back. So, and I believe that that's something for me. I think I do, I'd like to think I do look younger, and I'm that side of 40 now that I'll do whatever someone tells me to do and give it a go. So, I mean, even to say things, being aware of your hair on your face and whether it's your eyebrows and, and men grooming. And as I say, beards are really in right now. And the thing I just can't get my head around is the guys that sit there and stroke them. Because I think, do you like the feel? Do you miss your cat? Or are you planning on taking over a small country? Because it's like that sort of whole Mr. Evil thing going on there. So I don't think we've got any here that we have to keep it. Oh no, yeah. So you see them going, So so that's all part of that. Oh, I'm going to drop the batteries out of here. So I'll pop back to that one for a little minute. But so that's a little bit on facial hair. So we challenge the gents to try a little bit of manscaping, if you like, and reap the benefits of a more symmetrical head. The other thing there now, obviously I'm a big fan of makeup. I have worked as a makeup artist. I used to work in the wedding industry until I realised bridesmaids are insane. It's not the brides that you have to worry about, it's the bridesmaids. They're all nuts. So I'm obviously, a fan of makeup in that regard. And in preparing for tonight, one of the interesting studies I came across was there was a 2011 study commissioned and undertaken by Harvard University. And they had pictures of 4 women. So men, you can still pay attention because it's still interesting. And it pretty much went from, from no makeup through to a full evening look. And what they did, and this is in a corporate situation, so if you're not in corporate, you can still, get something from it, was that the third woman along who had what we term a regular sort of a day look, verging on, not the full evening glamour style. But the overwhelming feedback with that study was that she was seen to be more intelligent, probably more educated, more relatable, more promotable, more likely to be a leader, and also someone that they would respect because of the effort they had shown. So whilst it's not so much about, probably about how much makeup someone had on or how good they were at applying it, it's the inference that they respect their position, that they respect the people that they're around to put some effort in. So I'm not sort of advocating, people often, they get that, well, not everyone has to wear makeup. and they don't, but I think the relevance of the study is the fact that people respect effort being shown, when they're particularly in a corporate environment. So, but as I say, I make no secrets of the fact that I wear makeup, I like makeup, I collect my mail in makeup, so it's all fun. So from a psychology point of view, now obviously because of my background, I bring a lot of, the sort of the human behaviour side of things. I am trained in NLP, performance coaching and life coaching. So that along somehow with a diploma in beauty therapy and makeup artistry gets me to where I am today. So the psychology that we're going to have a look at is the psychology of colour. We can look at him for another sec. As I say, often we're very aware of how colour factors in with our logos and the representation of our business. And often too, we'll know how good a certain colour makes us feel when we're wearing it. So even, with the gents, often, you'll have that tie. When you think, I'm going to have a big day today, I need that tie. Because people like me in that tie, I feel great in that tie. And it's probably what I'm introducing you to tonight is not so much about how you feel about colour, but it's how people react to you in that colour. So it's another thing where when you're aware of what your personal brand is and who your clients are, is thinking how they react to you in these colours. So we're quickly just going to zip through these for a bit of... I didn't ask you, am I getting a warning? Oh, that's okay. I didn't ask, so that's all right. I know otherwise you've got a big hook. Cool, that's all right. Sorry. I was just kidding. So black, obviously sophistication, that must be what I'm going for tonight. Power, a bit of mystery, evil and death. So yeah, no, that's not me. So so maybe think about the colours that you wear or colours that you like on other people. So things that, with greys, as well as even in corporate uniforms, it's the stability and the security. So you've got, security guard kind of thing coming through. Purples often is associated with royalty and spirituality and passion and magic. So there we go. Yellow is joy and cheerfulness. We've got a little bit of yellow in here, making me feel joyous. And intellect as well, which is pretty cool. So white obviously is the whole purity, hope, goodness and cleanliness. In there, pink, romance. I always think of Barbara Cartland when I look at this slide, so if anyone's old enough to remember who she is. And, it's love, beauty, friendship and sensitivity. Blue. I always had a thing that the only companies I've ever worked for that I didn't resign from had blue uniforms, so I must be very drawn to blue uniforms. So, and there's probably other issues there as well. But it's, the stability, calmness, confidence. A lot of this depends on the hue of the colour, obviously, and there's a variation in colours, but this is just a very broad look at them. Green is obviously environment, healing, but money, safety and relaxation in there. And red, danger, passion, daring, romance, style, urgency, excitement, out of the box. Hey! So when we're looking at colour, we'll leave that one up there for a little second. As I say, it applies as much to our clothing as it does to our logos. When we're looking at a go-to outfit in business, often you can, have a look at a few standard items, things that pretty much go everywhere, go with everything, will work really well. And it's never about the money that you spend on an outfit. As much fun as it is to go shopping. My favourite quote from Coco Chanel is actually that she says, "Fashion says, me too, while style says only me." And I think the point from there is that style really is about you, and it's about what you like and what you're comfortable in, what resonates with your audience, what's getting you in a state of mind to do business effectively. And it's not about what you spend, it's about, the fit, it's about, the way that it suits you. Which leads into the physiology as well. Obviously, well-fitting clothes and things we feel good about, can make us look taller. It makes us certainly walk taller. And, and we stand well. It makes us more apt to want to shake hands, to meet people, to have our voice heard when we're, with other people. And that confidence comes across. And as I say, then, for a first impressions perspective, people want to talk to you. They want to know that person. They want to get to talk to that guy and that lady because they've got it going on. So at this point, obviously, I mean, as I said, then his voice, it's really where we get to hear where you've entered the room. I mean, these are just things that you can think about, that you can deal with before you even get to an event like this. And that's where it comes into play then about, well, who you're going to mix with and which events you're going to choose and how you're going to describe what it is that you do. But I've really covered everything up to that point. Well, not even everything. It's probably about 20%. There's a lot more things that we could look at. So in finishing there, though, and in entering the room, probably the number one piece of advice is to smile, is to look friendly. It's been interesting for me standing up here, seeing the ones of you that I've managed to get a smile out of. And you've got a beautiful smile. I've enjoyed having you there. And
is that Alex? Who's got the beautiful smile?
Over here. Just be nice. So, I mean, it's
Oh,
about
Karen!
entering the room, and it's about, it's smiling and it's being accepting of being there. And if I can offer a bit of my Nana's advice, she said to me, Sharon, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And obviously the reason there is that we should be listening twice as much as we're speaking. And to close with a quote there is how often people listen with the intent to reply rather than with the intent to hear. And it's such a gift to offer somebody else. I mean, how do you feel when you feel heard, when you feel understood, when you feel that someone's actually paid attention to something that you've said? It's gold. So everything else aside, if you can give that gift to somebody else, that connection, that bond, it's there, and it will be there for a very long time to come. So, yes, think and listen more than we speak. Okay, so I've done well. With regards to time, you can give me feedback later on, that's all right. So obviously, we get to this point, and some of you will be sitting there going, yeah, I've done that. I can do all that. Thanks for the reminder, that's really cool. And others will be just sort of thinking, oh my God, I never thought about half these things. So the opportunity that we've got here, because obviously this is out of the box, so we're going to have an opportunity to work together, because that would be awesome, is, and it's tonight only, I can actually see this one a lot better, and it's down there, is, if this is something that's piqued your interest and you sort of think, okay, well, I've got the rest sorted, I need to get myself out there more, and I want to just get all these things sorted. So it's not something that I have to invest too much time in. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Is the offer that we've got, and it is for tonight only, and Fleur can sort all this bit out, is a personalised colour assessment. So there is actually a guidebook that I work with, and I have bought a copy of it here tonight. Is that we'll work through that. We actually go through, and it's a process of working out what your ideal colours are, and it works through a process where we look at clothes, right down to jewellery, the best tone for your hair, through to makeup. It's a fully laminated book, so you can actually test things out in there and wipe it clean, and it's a resource, and we personalise that to you. So that's the bulk of what we're offering in there. The bonus with that is a first impression self-assessment inventory and workbook with an hour-long coaching session. So that's really going through the things that I couldn't fit in tonight, as well as discussing the things that we have. So tonight it's $197, 2 hours. I've got office space in the city, so you don't have to come up to where I am anymore. And if you have any questions, we can discuss in the break.
Okay, so what Sharon is offering here is what she normally offers at $197, which is this personalised colour assessment. Mm-hmm. That's right, isn't it?
Yep.
And then what she's adding on, because it's an out of the box biz event, is this additional first impression self-assessment inventory. I don't know, that sounds a bit scary, but anyway. I'm up for it. Valued at $127, you get that for free because you're at Out of the Box Biz tonight, and I'm going to go sort the lights, so don't worry. So that's what she's offering, just to be clear. Okay? If you've got any questions, we're going to have a break. If you can hold your questions for Sharon then, if that's all right, because I'm worried about lighting right about now.
I thought it was like the warning,
I'm just going to, everyone just be full of energy to keep the lights on. But can you show your appreciation for this awesome lady, Sharon Atwood?
Thank you.